Welcome. These will be my thoughts on the Hitmonkey Pilot. The episode is rated TVMA, so this video B. There will be spoilers, but only for this first episode, not for anything else at all. And yeah, I absolutely fucking love this episode. So I think I will just start with sure, some of the returning viewers might already know what I'm about to say, but just in case, because I'm going to be referring back to this video in later videos on this show. For those who do not know, anime is something that I have tremendous appreciation and respect for, but I am not qualified to seriously critique because I have not watched anywhere near enough of it for that. I have taken in some of the classics, Akira, as well as, I want to say I once counted it to, I'm afraid my wrists are too fucking sore to check right now, but I believe I counted it to, I think it was over half of Studio Ghibli. And I am aware that some people find it very important that I say the following. No, I don't personally think that Spirited Away is the absolute best. It's amazing, to be sure, but I think some of the others are even better. I know some people think it's too Oscar baity, and I can see what they mean. And yeah, I don't know. My favorite anime, it's probably either Akira or Grave of the Fireflies. And I guess I'll briefly note, yeah, I absolutely love, I don't think I've watched any anime that I thought was anything less than absolutely amazing, but I have also been very fortunate in, I've had some help finding anime that, yeah. And let's see. I suppose that does pretty much cover. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. To get me to talk on camera about something that is anime, I'm pretty sure this qualifies as anime. Once again, wrist too sore to check, but it certainly has the vibe. So I'm going to be calling it anime until somebody tells me to stop. And the the way to get me on camera talking about anime is to have it in something else. So in this case, comic book adaptation. And I've of course also talked some about, there's some anime, and it's not exclusively anime, but Star Wars Visions, that show, some of that was anime. And yeah, I suppose that does cover. So as I talk about these episodes, just be aware there's not going to be like super deep cuts and, really impressive comparisons to classics. I might compare it to some of the stuff I've mentioned just now having watched, but that's basically it. Right, I did also do that game, which I actually at this point forget what it was called, but I did at least one game that was anime. Anyway, yeah. Okay, before we dive too far into this, I do want to say, I guess I already said, so far, absolutely loving it. I can't speak to the rest of the show or the comic, but so far, this pilot has my full-throated support. I'm pretty sure full-throated was the word Donald Trump had intended to use in that Truth Social post. Instead, he used deep-throated. Okay. Um, I mean, that could be read. I feel like there's two ways to read that. Either Nixon's on his mind or sex is, which I don't know. In either case, no, not the best look. Just gonna say not for the U.S. president. And I'm gonna put a couple of video recommendations right here because I keep fucking forgetting mentioning them in other videos. So I'm just gonna do it now so I don't forget. And then I swear I'll actually talk about this fucking show eventually. Spent 4.5 minutes not talking about it already. If you haven't already watched, I want to say it's pronounced Matt Baumy's video Inside Marriage Wars. Fantastic. Solid viewing experience. Clear your schedule. It's a long one, but as usual, Matt makes it well worth the time. And yeah, it's obviously, if you you might already know some of what he says. It is an emotional roller coaster, some serious ups and downs when it comes to gay marriage rights, but he makes it interesting. It is already interesting. What I mean is he makes it easier to watch by, including more humor than some other, people would have. Personally, I quite appreciated how he brought up the that infamous Arnold Schwarzenegger quote about gay marriage and who it's between more than once. Matt Baume did. I'm not sure. Arnie said it more than once. And I would also very much recommend watching the Leftist Cooks video, Why Don't Fascists Eat Vegetables? Which, that one also, that one is funnier, which is also, meant to be. It is also, there are things in there that's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck. Yeah, I think that is, yeah, let's fucking talk about this show for, yeah. Anyway, it's a little bit bittersweet, because this is the last. Once I'm done with this show, I'm actually not gonna have any, at this point it feels silly to say old, because this episode aired in 2021. It is legitimately, as I record this, this episode is less than 5 years old, so I'm gonna stop calling it old. But well, shit, wait, I guess this was Disney Plus. Well, it was Hulu. It's now on Disney Plus. Whatever. The shows that are not MCU Disney Plus, but are Marvel, and on Disney Plus, and most of them aren't animated. I can't even say that they're all live action, because obviously this one isn't. But yeah, it's the last of those, and I don't know. It's been a really good run. It's been a while since I started this whole thing. It still feels surreal to me that I actually originally wasn't even going to do it, and then I was like, okay, if they're gonna make another Daredevil, I guess I should watch the original Daredevil. Oh, it makes sense to watch Defenders if you watch Daredevil, and if you're gonna watch Defenders, it makes a lot of sense to watch the other Defender shows. Okay, I'll watch them, and then, after that it was like, okay, I gotta watch more of this. It's too fucking good. Anyway, I continue to really appreciate how much they just did things with these shows. Like, I can't quite say no two are alike, because that's an exaggeration, but a lot of them are distinctly different from each other in just enough ways for me to find it, impressive. That but I appreciate, some would say, oh, they were just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks. But I don't know, I really appreciate it, because it to me, that's one of the things I love about comic books. There's been so many times in my life where I picked up a comic book and I did not fucking know what was going to be inside, and yeah, I mean, sometimes we also see it in the movies, but in some cases it's more these shows that actually go and take these chances, and I'm here for it. Anyway, I think that is the entire preamble. If you've stayed around for 9 fucking minutes before I actually start talking specifically about the show, thank you. Anyway, gonna try to keep this chronological. So I wasn't sure exactly when we were going to first see it. I knew the core concept. I didn't think it would be the opening, but I appreciate that they then, the rest of the episode is a flashback. But yeah, that was really fucking cool. I love the fact that it's only really at the end that it's for sure revealed. Like, there is at least one part where it's like, is this really a human doing this? Because at first I thought, oh, this is just, this is Bryce. But some of that movement feels like, I mean, we don't see that much of it in this opening, but there's still, it feels more like, okay, yeah, this is the monkey. And yeah, the bit near the bit with, okay, listen, we can make a deal. No, we can't, because you're a fucking monkey and you don't understand. Yeah, that's the thing. Does it understand English? I guess maybe it's just like for our benefit. Maybe Bryce learned monkey while being taken care of, because or maybe revenge is just more of a universal language, transcends that kind of yeah. But I also really appreciated how, like, I don't know if this is going to keep being the case, but so far there's weight to the violence. I wasn't sure that was going to be the case because I knew that one of the things going on here was going to be comedy. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that none of the violence has any kind of, like, there's some parts where, I don't know, I suppose it's more badass than funny, but certainly I wouldn't really say that there was any throwaway violence in this. I would say that it always, like, hit, and obviously with some of them more so, the ones where we got a little bit of characterization beforehand, but yeah, I don't think there was a... Yeah, I mean, I would say I chuckled when I realized Bryce did have a backup plan and took out all those, yeah. And, yeah. So yeah, we go back 2 months. This is not the first time I take in Jason Sudeikis. It is one of... It's not that far off. I have liked him elsewhere as well, but yeah, he was really great here. Just it's the exact right kind of energy, because, like, there's more to this character than one might at first think, because, like, we've seen, hitmen that are like, am I really still doing this kind of thing before? I'm personally quite fond of Grosse Point Blank with the Cusack siblings. And yeah, just the way that it really gets across kind of the tragedy of, because, like, the moment that you see this passport, like, I can imagine a bunch of people, because that, again, like, that's a joke, like, dude, get another fucking passport, like, just get a new one. They are running out of fucking space for all these goddamn stamps, and yeah, it's like, wow, that's actually almost kind of impressive. And then you realize he's not having any fun, is he, Sean? He's just kind of like, he's really fucking good at it, but he doesn't really want to be doing it, and just, yeah, I thought that really worked. And before we even have a chance to ask, why is he... And oh, okay, he is not welcome in his with his back with his family. He had to leave because there was a fist fight at during the holidays. And then he just jokes like, what, how is it really the holidays if you don't get in a fist fight with your family? Jesus Christ. Just, and that's, and it is a coping mechanism. He is, as is the liquor and all the partying and such. And let's see, I also just really appreciate the way that there's kind of nothing fake about him, the he keeps telling people, what he's doing, and I mean, shit, does he lie to one character in this entire episode? I don't think he does. It's just, there's times where he puts it in a clever, witty way so that the other person doesn't understand what he's saying. But, like, you've got the thing with, okay, so, what are you here for, business or pleasure? And I love the face on the other person is like, oh my God, it's a one-word answer, my dude. I don't know why you're giving me your goddamn life story. Please, do you see the line? Do you understand how goddamn busy this airport is? Please, just give me a one-word fucking answer, And he's going, oh, I mean, when you love what you do, And then he says, gun to my head, pleasure. Or gun to head, pleasure. Because that's just the thing. Some part of him is enjoying killing, because, like, look at how much fucking money he makes on a job like this. If he wanted to retire, I feel like he could, but some part of him, it's how he works through the negative emotions, that and the drinking. Well, I guess maybe the drinking is to deal with the negative emotions from the killing. And Yeah, he just goes out, there's the thing. Yeah, are you gonna be here when I come back? Because I just feel like we've got such great back and forth, you and I, it's just, I love all these little things you are saying to me that I can hear, because it makes me feel so much less alone than if I was just babbling by myself, because that he is so wanting connection, because look at the way that, once he, like, at first he's like, oh god, it tastes like ass, but once he's like, oh, they are healing me, they're really taking care of me, he doesn't actually complain. Like, he gets a little annoyed at, I guess at this point I just have to call him Hit Monkey. I guess I feel like by the end of the episode he's earned that title, but he, yeah, he's really not being an asshole to them, and kind of in general, he does approach people and is like, "Hi, how are you? I'm Bryce," and it's just, yeah, um, I really appreciated how much there is to his character, and yeah, so he, there's the thing about, so I'm the, I'm Bryce. I'm here to, do the thing, and the yeah. Um, and then he, makes a reference to being in, I mean, either Alcoholics Anonymous. Why does that suddenly feel wrong to say out loud? AA, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's NA. But the yeah, and he talks about, well, they said to be honest. I mean, I'm glad that he internalized at least one of the things they told him, because I'm pretty sure another one was stop fucking drinking. But I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying I think it's a funny joke that he is going around being way too honest with other people because he was in AA and he's still drinking, just, yeah. And the thing about, okay, so I'm here for the guns, the bullets, the bigger bullets, it's just, he sounds like he's ordering a fucking pizza. This is Tuesday to him. This is nothing, And the thing about the, she keeps coughing, and he's like, I really don't want to be sick tomorrow when I'm working, and just, yeah, I fucking love the sense of place this has, because I feel like I can fucking smell that nasty place where they're keeping the guns. And I fucking love the detail of this, like, girly backpack with money in it, because, like, at first it's just kind of a joke because he's like, very masculine. Really appreciate they didn't actually make a joke. Like, he's not like, I can't wear that. It's just like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. I mean, it's got the money inside, so what the fuck do I care what the fuck it looks like, But the audience notices it. So later when we see the military guy holding it, we're not like, whose backpack is that? I wonder what's inside. We immediately know, oh yeah, the money backpack, And he put something in there, and then he triggers it, and just, yeah, very, very clever. And I think, yeah, so that's when we get the party montage, and yeah, it's just like it's so clear he's just trying to escape, he trying to avoid dealing with his emotions. And I don't think it's an accident that the one time in the episode where he seems calm is when he's surrounded by people, or monkeys, who don't, sentient beings who don't want to hurt him, but in fact are taking care of him, because there's still not like conversation between him and them, but, for the entire rest of the episode we never see him that calm, and yeah, I mean, that is what it is. He is in this incredibly hostile world where he's being double crossed and having to kill a cop who was just doing his job, and not really wanting. Yeah, I guess that, come to think of it, that might be the main thing that he's running from, the fact that he every so often feels the need to kill an innocent person. But yeah, that is, I really appreciated that detail, because they could easily have had him like being like, okay, I have to figure out who did this. I have to, a plan. I need to counterattack. But he's just chilling, which is ironic because I think the water's hot. And yeah, he's losing big, and he's like, okay, no big deal. And he's like, I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching. Actually, I'm gonna dance like everybody's watching, which I will say is probably better than watching while no one's dancing. And yeah, he tells them, and they're like, and he's like, no, I mean, you're laughing. It's not a joke. I'm telling the truth. I really am into, but they just, I don't know. I mean, maybe they too think, oh, he's saying he's into mergers, just, yeah. And let's see. Yeah. So I also really appreciated I'm guessing we're going to get more of, well, not that one particular character, but at least a couple of, well, yeah, there's the tease at the end. We're going to get more of at least some of these characters. I will say, so it's obviously very early to say because Olivia Munn does not have that many lines in this. And I guess I'll briefly note, so I've seen her in live action X-Men. She was in The Predator. She was in, what was it called again? Deliver Us from Evil? Wow, that might actually be everything I've seen her in that was not G4. I think it might be, yeah. So yeah, as I said, it's a little early to say because she doesn't have that many lines, and yet, yes, I would definitely say this is the best I've seen her do or heard her do. Maybe she's just better suited for voice acting than live. I don't know. I've heard good things about some of her other performances. Probably also helps that she's not trying to do a New York accent like the rest from Evil. And the material, I think, is better here than what she was given in X-Men. Anyway, I don't think I really have to say much about George Takei. Wonderful. Like, I am literally never unhappy when he pops up in something. And yeah, that was one of the big reasons I was looking forward to watching this. Was his presence, and I was open to Munn. She's kind of someone that I just generally kind of feel like I think she has potential. I think she can do it. She just sometimes ends up, as mentioned, like it's a sucky situation that's kind of, getting bad material for X-Men, having to do an accent that maybe doesn't quite come naturally to her. Like it's just not like she's the only one who is struggling against the accent. I don't think I remember Eric Bana doing wonderfully with it either. And, I think he's done really impressive work elsewhere. I remember him being great in Troy, for example. Anyway, I think that does bring us nicely to... But yeah, and the thing about... So we get that, Munn's character is progressive, and the politician is agreeing with it, even as the Takei character is against it. And yeah, also just great. I feel like every character who I think is gonna reappear in later episodes gets just enough characterization, even though some of them really don't get that much screen time. Like, I 100%, I was not surprised to see the other cop, the surviving cop, show up in the tease there at the end, because he's definitely gonna want to stop the, yeah. And that is kind of the thing, yeah. Cop wants revenge. Maybe Munn does. I wouldn't rule it out, certainly. I can imagine the Takei character will. Hitmonkey, obviously. And the fact that there are characters who want revenge on Bryce who don't yet know that he's already, stop, he's already dead. And yeah, the thing about, like, why can I never remember my password? I know it has the word ass in it. It's not easy to sell a joke like that. That's such a corny fucking joke, but I don't know. I thought it worked. And let's see. Yeah, he's got the, and the bit where he goes in to, where the snipers are set up, and he's like, "Good morning, gentlemen," because that's kind of the thing. He works alone. No one believes him when he tells them what he does. There's the part at the hotel where he's like, "Oh, you guys are wonderful. Do you want to hang around? Because, there's beer. I could order a porno or Love Actually. We could split the difference and watch the sort of porno scene in Love Actually." And he turns around and they're gone. No one in his world wants to hang out with him, and he's already been rejected by his family. And by the end of the episode, he's dead. He is never going to have a friend, but he's going to mentor this monkey. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to more. Anyway, so the yeah, I'm very clever. I was wondering, wait, how is he going to do this when there's all that, there's the safety glass or bulletproof glass or whatever. He's got them to take out the little the stand things, standees or whatever they're called, so that the glass will follow. It's just, yeah. And yeah, I love the bit about, the good cop, talks about, like, I don't know, I feel like this is not, there's not enough safety here, and if the other cop had listened, if anybody had listened, but it was especially the other cop's his partner, maybe they could have prevented this, so, and now he's dead. A good man is dead. And let's see. Yeah, it was also funny, the thing about, like, you're going to be cop of the year with you as my partner? I doubt it. And yeah, the stylization around the sniping was really, really cool. The slow-mo on the bullet and the blood spurt, and just really, like, it's not difficult to understand why some people fucking love anime and watch as much of it as they at all can, And I think that does bring us to... I also really appreciate that we did not have to watch the cop killing, because, like, it's sad enough seeing, the finding of the body by the partner, and then Bryce, sorry, dealing with guilt afterwards, And I suppose that does pretty much bring us to... Yeah, so there's the bit where he encounters all those... I mean, they look military to me. I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, you have the thing about he, now this guy's not going to be able to fight corruption. And, that is genuinely... There are a number of countries where, some people don't want corruption stopped, and sometimes they will hire people to stop the politicians. It's not always assassination, but, it is something that we have to really be aware of. I'm not talking about, like, conspiracy theory bullshit. Let's see. Obviously there are times where some people will say, "Oh, this must have been, like, a conspiracy," and you look at the facts and it's like, no, it really wasn't. Anyway, I think that does... Right, I guess I should also say, love the setting of Japan. That is gonna make it more visually, it's gonna really make it stand out and pop compared to a lot of these comic booky things where it's like New York or a different big city in the US. And let's see. Yeah, the thing about... I love the pan across all these guys, because it's like, at first I'm thinking there's literally no way, yeah, they're gonna take... Because the first thing I noticed was how bored most of them looked. They genuinely don't seem to give a shit about what's happening around them. But then, when he, presses the button and then he gets the guns and fires, suddenly it's like, oh shit, he actually has to take out a bunch. And it's really no wonder that one of them manages to fire one bullet before he, yeah. And the thing about like, oh, I got blood on my suit, and some of it is mine. Is this? Just, I swear, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. And I also really appreciate it. Like, it's not difficult to understand how they were able to find him because he kept leaving bloody handprints on trees, which I also don't exactly blame him for. Like, what the fuck else is he gonna? I mean, I guess he could have left it in the snow or something, but you know. And the yeah, I love the decision to not have the monkeys speak in anything other than monkey. I want to say screeching is the appropriate term. You know, they sound like monkeys. And if I understand correctly, it is human voice actors making monkey noises in an ADR booth. So I hope they had fun. I did watching it. And yeah, oh god, the fact that so Hitmonkey didn't want Bryce there, and he was right, because Bryce led the killers right to him, and that was also the thing about, you're not like the others. You know who, you know what I am, you know, and he actually kind of respects that. Like, he's, you know, and the thing about, like, you know, he gives him advice about the, you know, he could have shot him, you know, but chooses not to. And he does protest when, you know, the Hitmonkey's being sent away. He's like, no, oh shit, I didn't mean for that to happen, you know. He kind of just wanted, he's like, listen, can we get this monkey off my back, please? He didn't want for this to happen. Anyway, the not much more to say about, yeah, we have the thing about, like, are you going to challenge me for position of alpha? And Monkey doesn't, but does later hit, and I mean, that is how he lives up to that part of his titular character name. And yeah, the part where Bryce sets up, you know, and then fights off the, or not off, but fights the snowman. And yeah, seriously, poor Frosty. And it is also very clever, you know, basically by the end of the episode, Hitmonkey has taken over the guns and bullets and such that we saw Bryce pick up earlier. I don't know why he felt he needed quite that many, but I mean, in Grosse Point Blank, I forget the exact number, but it's something like they ordered bullets by the thousands, so maybe this is just something done in, you know, male hitman, you know, 40s or older, who's like, am I really going to keep fucking doing this? Media. Anyway, I think that is, which is somewhat comedic. Anyway, I feel like that is when the, yeah, so Hitmonkey is sent away and realizes about all the killers coming, and, you know, rushes there, but can't do anything to stop them before it's already too late, and now is dealing with survivor's guilt, you know, and this interesting dynamic of, you know, it didn't want Bryce there, and if they had listened, if they had sent away Bryce so he had been found somewhere else, would they really have killed the monkeys? No, you know, and that was also, oh god, for all the things that are played for laughs in the episode, I really appreciate that the monkey slaughter was not at all. Like, we're sitting there thinking, oh, please don't, no, don't antagonize, you know, don't throw snow at, you know, these are not the kinds of people that you engage in a snowball fight with. And yeah, they just, they shoot. And of course, you know, the monkeys don't understand because a gun is a foreign object. You know, they don't appreciate how dangerous this situation is. They're just trying to get the, you know, these unpleasant, you know, beings to leave, because this would work on, like, so many living beings, you know. And yeah, that was also a bit where they didn't just really linger on the that's kind of a thing in this episode. I don't know if it's going to be for the entire show, but when the violence is something that we really don't want to watch, they don't really linger on it. I mean, I'm not saying that it was like fun watching the politician be killed, but it was, yeah, I really felt bad for the monkeys and the cop, and yeah, and to an extent Bryce. And I love that he doesn't try to talk he's there and he's like, well, I mean, I don't have any more cards to play. This is just, and he notices Hit Monkey. And he doesn't try to do, I mean, I appreciate they might not have turned around anyway, because that does sound like the oldest trick in the book. But he doesn't tell them, oh, if you're into monkey killing, there's another one right up there. He winks at Hit Monkey and then is, gunned down and survives just long enough to convey, evidently, the revenge. Yeah. And I think that does pretty much get... Yeah, fantastic bit where Hit Monkey is taking out all of them. And let's see. I think that does pretty much get us to the very ending, with the... yeah, so Hit Monkey's got the... gets the shades, which is a great visual way to convey it's taking over for Bryce, and the what's it called? Carrying the bag of guns and ammo. And so yeah, the teaser definitely has me teased. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Hit Monkey in a suit dancing, and apparently magical opponents. Like they didn't have to go that hard. I feel like if it just like you had me at Monkey Wick